In this video, we're going to go over exactly how to perform the kettlebell swing, as well as some tips to improve efficiency and decrease the chance of back pain. All right, so we're going to dial into the classic kettlebell swing, also known as the Russian kettlebell swing. So let's show you what it looks like. Okay, so first thing to point out with this movement is a power movement. It is not a strength movement. All right, what do I mean by that? Well, power involves speed, it involves velocity. Strength is more of a controlled movement, kind of like if you think about like the squat. You know, you got 2 seconds on the descent, 2 seconds on the ascent. The kettlebell swing is a little bit different. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath from that. But kettlebell swing is a little bit different. You want speed and velocity. You want to generate power. You want it to be explosive, okay? It's an explosive movement. So that's number one. Number two is the biggest error that athletes make when performing this movement is they squat their kettlebell swing. Incorrect. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially they're letting the bell get too far from the center of mass. They're bending their knees too much. They're getting too deep with it. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so not only is it an inefficient movement, but it also increases stress on your lower back quite a bit. So when you're performing the kettlebell swing, you want to think of it more of a forward and back movement with the bell. Your goal is to send it forward and back. Utilize the hips with a hip hinge to send the weight forward, not up, okay? You want the bell to just barely clear the crotch. You don't want it to get close to the knees. So you're just clearing it, you're just clearing your body, you're focusing on using your glutes to generate power to send the weight forward, not using your quads to send the weight up. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, see the difference there? All right, last two things real quick I want to point out. Number one is your arms. This is not an upper body movement, okay? You should not be using your arms to send the weight through its course of movement. The arms are just a guide. They're just the attachment from the weight to your body. They're free to move. They're just moving as a pendulum. And in terms of height, it really doesn't matter how high you get. The goal is not to get to eye height. That's a big misconception. This is a glute power movement. All right, it doesn't matter how hard the kettlebell goes. It's also okay to have a slight bend in the elbows. That helps to keep the movement smooth. And then very last thing I want to point out has to do with the lower back. I see this all the time. It is very important that you do not hyperextend your lower back at the top of the movement. So let me show you what that looks like. That's basically when you perform the swing, but then you arch your back at the top and you send the hips too far forward. Doing this time and time again is going to really increase the chance of tightness and pain in the low back. So it's very important that when you finish this, or when you're at the top of the swing, that you stop at neutral. Do not go beyond neutral. Stop at neutral. All right, so just to recap real quick, remember this is a power movement. This is something that involves speed, okay? This is not a squatting movement. Think of this more of a hip hinge. The number one error people make is they squat their kettlebell swing. This is not an upper body movement. The arms are just an attachment between the weight and the body. And then lastly, do not hyperextend the lower back. So to bring it all together one last time, let me just show you what it looks like. All right, there you have it, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Also, if this brought any value or if you found any tips helpful in this video, please hit the like button. And if this is your first time to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more awesome content. See you on the next one.